all freight can be rescheduled.
And it's a lot. It's probably a lot of drivers that don't even realize.
Yeah, they'll see the light on. They don't know what it means. But that's what it's for.
Isn't that something? That is something. We really appreciate your pointing these all the little intricacies that you have mentioned. A lot of the schools have just glossed over, skipped over, and they're just really upfront about getting their money on and leaving you high and dry with the other things that you need to know, which means you're less safety conscious than you should be out there on the road.
Also, one thing you want to look at, a lot of drivers, when they hook up to their equipment,
yes, sir.
There's three things you want to do when you hook up to a trailer. You want to hear it, you want to feel it, and you want to see it. You back up into it.
Yes, sir.
Feel the bang. Okay, you're going to hear it. I'm sorry. You're going to hear the bang. Now you're going to do your little tongue test. So that's feeling it. Now you come out and you visually look. So now you're seeing it. Not just on the driver's side. You want to come around the other side because you want to look at the pin. When your trailer's properly locked in, this will pop out. When that pops out, you're locked in.
Okay.
Not just looking in the middle and you can see the crossbar, but you also want to see that this is popped out. Also, when you're unhooking from your trailer, if the handle will not move, and you try to put a little bit of pressure towards your trailer, and it still will not move, just grab a hammer and hammer it right here. It'll pop it right out, and you can unhook.
Wow.
A lot of drivers don't know that, and they'll just keep trying and trying, and you end up hurting your shoulder.
Isn't that something? Have you ever had an issue with your handle being crooked, or let's say you backed under something and now your handle is bent?
Yeah, it happens. It happens. The one thing that you can do is when you grab your handle, you got to remember it's spring loaded. So when you come out, it will pop back in. But one way to do it, if you got a bent handle, is just kind of go out, hold yourself with your left hand, just keep shimmying it.
Okay.
That spring will eventually unlock it. Now, you might have a problem trying to lock back into another trailer, but at least you're away from the trailer, and it's easier for the maintenance guy to come and take care of it, because now he doesn't have anything in the way. So just remember it's a spring. Just keep playing with it.
Yeah.
You'll hear it unlock.
Mr. Vives, I had something like that similar happen to me about a month ago. And all I did was it's out of alloy, kind of, where you can bend it back in place. The company had me go take and get an analysis of how much the whole thing would cost. So, they tried to rip us off and tell us, oh, we got to change the whole fifth wheel plate. We got to take the fifth wheel because they think you don't know. Yeah, it's all about the money.
It doesn't cost anything, but the plate does.
Yeah. So they're right there ready to rip you off,
Well, another thing you can do is if you don't want to keep pulling it with your hand, at truck stops they sell the crossbar. That crossbar's got one hook at the end and a little hook in the middle. What that does is when you hook it underneath the handle, the other one hooks to the metal or the aluminum on your trailer.
Okay.
And when all you do is just you're pulling that and it pulls it on its own.
There it is.
That stops you from hurting yourself. It also helps on the trailer when you have to pull the handle. Most trailers will have a little pin that you pull, but like the old ones, they'll still have the handle.
Yes, sir.
So if you don't want to go in there and grab it, you can hook the handle to it and pull it out. It's more of an extension because you're further away, as opposed to being underneath it. You're uncomfortable trying to get it out. That is
a bright propositional thing to do, Mr. Roberts, as you have explained it so eloquently. Because of the fact, why dirty your shirt up? Why get up under there like that when you can do it at a distance? Just get another hook. Go and get you another hook and keep your shirt clean.
True. But as they say, a dirty man is not a working man. Just like when DOT inspects your truck and trailer, when you pop your hood open, what they want to see is fingerprints. They want to see your fingerprints all over any part of that truck that you could possibly inspect on your own.
Yes, sir.
A lot of guys clean their engines, which is good. You want to keep a clean truck and a clean engine because it keeps DOT more aware. A guy with a dirty truck most likely doesn't inspect anything. A guy with a clean truck, well, he's on point. It doesn't mean he inspects stuff. It just means you're less to get any attention. But Even though the engine's clean, it's a lot easier to see dirty fingers touching stuff. That's what they're looking for.
So that means that a person would actually know their way around the engine compartment. You see a lot of fingerprints and things.
When you're doing your inspection, you're using gloves, right? You might be clean, but your gloves are always going to be dirty.
Absolutely.
So when you touch something, that's what they're looking for. They want to see what you've touched, what you've looked at.
Yeah. And what's the reasoning behind you actually doing that?
Exactly. Just because they have you do an inspection, I've seen a lot of guys, they'll pop the hood, they'll just, from here, they'll just kind of do one of these, walk around. No, you got to get in there, you got to pull, you got to pull some handles, you got to squeeze some hoses, you got to see some clamps, you got to,
yes, sir.
You got to touch your equipment. You got to remember when this truck is moving, a lot of stuff is vibrating, and that's a lot of power.
Oh yeah.
You gotta, if your little fingers can actually unhinge something, just imagine going down a road. So
wow.
So if you're going to do an inspection, if you're actually going to go ahead and do it, don't waste your time. Just do it. And most companies will say they want a 15-minute pre-trip. That's just for DOT regulations. But the real answer to how long a pre-trip takes, the answer is as long as it takes. As long as it takes you to do it. Because God forbid something happens and you always put 14 minutes, 17 minutes, 18 minutes. Well, if you go to court and they actually have a big court where they have a parking lot in the back, they're going to rent the truck a trip. You better believe it. They're going to say, okay, Johnny, that's my name. You said it takes you 18 minutes to do a pre-trip. Go ahead. As soon as you pop the hood, just let me know. So I pop the hood, they'll start clicking. At the end of 18, they're going to click. If I'm still making my way around, something's wrong. So as long as it takes, just put yourself on duty and get a cigarette, whatever you like.
Okay.
Take your time. Get in there. Get underneath there. Don't worry about getting dirty. Because the one thing about truckers is we have components, right?
Yes, sir.
What do those cabinets have? Plenty of clothes. Dry yourself off, get some wet wipes. There's no excuse. It always change, you know?
Right.
But you know that when you're ready to go, you don't have to stop again unless you need fuel. Not because something just fell off and somebody had to tell me about it going down the road blowing it. So you gotta watch out for that stuff. Laziness is dangerous. And comfortability is dangerous. Don't ever get too comfortable thinking you already know what you're doing because you've been doing it for a long time. Because God knows how to wake you up.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
He's good at that.
He's
not going to take your life, but he's going to give you a scare. You won't wake up. You won't do it again.
That's a beautiful, beautiful way to look at it, John. We really appreciate you very much.
I appreciate it.
And as you know, this is going to be part of the curriculum for the learning process for new drivers back in California. You presenting your professionalism with us and sharing your expertise. We greatly appreciate you. And thank you so much for taking the time to point a few things out to us. If I could ask just maybe a couple more questions of you, John. I wanted to find out if you can mention to our up-and-coming students, what are the things that they will actually need to look forward to as far as the electronic board and working quite possibly the electronic board with their time constraints, with the drivers driving no more than 11 hours. Can you speak on that and the allotted other time?
That's actually a very good question. As a student, one thing you can expect is stress. Very stressful. The next thing would be fear. A lot of people get scared once they get in these trucks. From the outside, it doesn't look like much, but when you're in there, it's you're pretty high up. You do have a better vision than other people, but you are high up. Mm-hmm. And so when you get in these trucks, you gotta be very careful, and never be afraid to ask questions from the trainer. If there's something they don't know, they should be finding a way to how they can get the answer for you. But I don't know is never an answer. With the core comp systems are not very complex. They're pretty easy based once you've done it several times. As a student, even though your trainer's showing you, have him speak it, but you touch. You want to physically get your hands on and see what he's telling you to do. It's the only way you're going to get better practice. So a lot of people get confused with the 8-hour, 11-hour, 14-hour. We're just going to break it out. The 8-hour doesn't mean absolutely nothing. Let's just break it down straight. You have an 11, you have a 14, and you have a 7. Okay? Let's just take it like that. What the 8 minute is, that's the 8 hours, they put that in. It's basically, after those 8 run down, you got to sit for 30 minutes, and it will give you back whatever's left. So if you ran, let's say, 5 hours, you would have maybe 3 left, or if you ran 6 hours, you would have 3 left, something like that. But
yes, sir.
It will tell you. But what you want to focus on mainly is the 11-hour rule, the 14-hour rule, and the 70-hour rule. Most people don't know how that works, so I'll explain it to you. Okay, imagine this being the 11-hour clock, this being the 14-hour clock. This is how simple it is, okay? The moment you start doing a pre-trip, the 14-hour clock is gone. The 11-hour clock, which is your drive time, does absolutely nothing. Okay, now you're done with your pre-trip, you put yourself off duty. It's still going. Now you start driving, both of them are gone. Let's say you drove for about 3 hours, you're a little bit hungry, you want to get something to eat, you go in a truck stop, you stop driving. That 14-hour clock is still going. So it does not stop until it ends, or you take a 10-hour break to reset. That's how simple it is. I mean, with practice. But basically, that's what I can tell you. The 11-hour clock is the only clock you control. But once that 14 hits the 11, where it's gone 14 hours, 13 hours, 12 hours, 11 hours, now it's matched up to your driving time. But it's going to keep going down. That's when you're going to know what stress and pressure is about getting these loads done. Because now you're running off your 14-hour clock. It will not stop. It is consistent whether you're driving or not.
Right.
And it happens. But you can always reschedule. Don't get a ticket trying to speed. Don't think you're trying to do something out here to impress any of us. Most of us are old school. There's nothing you're going to do or about to do that we haven't done already. So, but we have our tickets in the past to prove our incompetence. So don't ever be in a rush. Everything can get rescheduled. If your dispatcher's telling you, man, we gotta have it there, remember your dispatcher's not gonna pay your ticket. DOT is gonna look at your clock, it's gonna see you running over. It doesn't matter that you're in traffic. If there's an accident, God forbid, and you're in traffic and your clock runs down, you gotta let your company know what's going on. Hey, look, I got 1 hour left of film traffic. Look, I got 30 minutes left on film traffic. The company will allow you to do personal drive time, but that's only to get it to a safe haven. Don't think about a safe haven being the truck stop where you can take a shower and get something to eat. Sometimes it could just be a little gas station on the side, just somewhere for you to shut down.
Right.
So you miss out on a meal. You'll survive.
You pick it up on the back end.
You pick it up on the back end.
Well, sir, I really, really commend you, and we greatly appreciate you so very much. And we're going to speak to you off camera and let you know about our communication and how a lot of the students, even if some of your students might want to take admiration to what you're talking about and put this up under their hat, add it as another feather. We'll give you all that information that you need as well. So we greatly appreciate you and thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please say your wonderful name to our audience.
Johnny Vives, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Oh, one last thing.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you're asked what's the most important sign on the road, we're going to say a bunch of different answers. But there's only one real answer. The most important sign on the road
is the
one you didn't see.
Wow.
Let that marinate.
Wow. That's heavy.
That's a heavy one, yeah.
All right. God bless you, sir. Thank you so very much.